Lagos. You see, we are working here, we are living here, and for almost 10 years, we have been working hard. No matter who is interested in Chinese language or culture, we can help. So that's why we are here. Yes.
Thank you.
Lagos. Actually, it's set up by my uni in China, Beijing Institute of Technology and University of Lagos. But it's supported by the Confucius Institute headquarters in China. And we are here just because the local people, the Nigerian people wanted to study Chinese and they wanted to learn China. So 10 years ago, the treatment was signed. The agreement between the two unis, between University of Lagos and the Confucius Institute headquarters was signed because Nigerian people were very interested in Chinese culture, in Chinese language. So this institute was set up almost 10 years ago. And then our work started by teaching. So our main work is teaching Chinese and helping the local people to learn about Chinese people, about Chinese culture by holding some cultural events, and we also just try to introduce whatever the local people are interested in our classrooms. And we teach Chinese language to not only primary school students, but secondary students and university students. For example, Unilex. Teaching methodology, we are teaching Chinese language just like what we do when we are teaching English, when we are teaching mathematics. So language learning is just like whatever. So I found that Nigerian people are so good at learning languages. So we are teaching Chinese just as what we do. We follow the scientific methodology and we just teach it as one of the courses that so many people are having. It's not a special one. It's just a language, just like Yoruba, just like Igbo, just like Hausa. You know, sorry, my university is next to a language learning university. The name of it is Beijing Foreign Studies University. Hausa has been there maybe for 10 years, I'd love to say. Yeah, they are teaching Hausa in Beijing, in my neighbor university. Yeah, we are doing it just like we are teaching. You are teaching Hausa. Yeah.
You speak English fluently.
Thank you.
So how, in the mind of a Chinese, learning English language, is it as easy as you would expect a Nigerian or an African to learn Mandarin?
I think it's the same. Now, in China, English learning is also very popular. Now, maybe 20 years ago, 30 years ago, or 40 years ago, when they had open door policy in China, I think that's 40 years ago, English became suddenly as popular as you can imagine. So all the children, parents, they paid so much for their students to learn English. And for university entrance examination, you have to get good marks in English besides all the other courses. When we were applying for our promotion, we also needed English. So I'm sure that Chinese today in Nigeria, the popularity of the language is just as the English language when it became very popular 30 years ago. The same thing. Everyone, this is Professor Wang Yongjing, the Chinese director of the Confucius Institute at the University of Lagos. Now we are having a good talk with the great journalists from Diplomatic Watch, and we are having a good communication, and I'm sure that in the future we are having a good collaboration, because both my institute, Confucius Institute, University of Lagos, and Diplomatic Watch, we are working together for the friendship between the two countries. So we are having a good future. Thank you. That African people. Now let's talk about Nigerian people. Since I came 3 years ago, I found that Chinese language has been so welcomed by Nigerian people. I think the reason is we are having more and more Chinese people working in Nigeria. And why do you think we have so many people just leaving their home motherland, coming to Africa to study, to work? I'm sure that everyone knows, right? We have One Belt, One Road initiative by our President Xi Jinping. And a lot of Chinese people, they know that historically, African people, Chinese people, we are brothers, we are sisters, we are friends. So we are visiting our friends. And actually, when more and people found that they can work there very well, and they just come. And when I came, that I received, many people who came just to my office asking us for Chinese teachers, for Chinese teaching. So I think that is because people, they found that in this world, China is developing so fast. China has, now many people, aged people, they found the change of the country.
觉得是 in your opinion, what you think, what you feel about something. 我觉得学习汉语最好。我觉得 I think yes, I think studying Chinese is very good. That is 觉得 what you think, what you feel, and your opinion about.
I am Dr. Adito Wang. I teach Chinese at the Confucius Institute, University of Lagos, and I'm also a staff at the Department of Linguistics, African and Asian Studies. We also teach Chinese studies.
Okay, tell us how are you able to cope in taking your student Chinese, your experience and the challenges you're facing in the language?
Teaching Chinese is quite an honor to Nigerian students because it places them a great spot in the new age of globalization. We all know that China is the biggest economy currently. So for them to learn a new language, it gives them a lot of communication skills and a lot of good job prospects in the future. What are my challenges? The challenges I have in teaching Chinese language is that a lot of students have problems with tones because Chinese itself is a tonal language, and also motivation. Sometimes students come on and off, attend classes, and then sometimes they disappear. But the greatest challenge is actually getting the students not only to learn the culture, not only to learn the language, but to invite the culture, because there is no way you can separate the language from culture. And this is the greatest challenge because there are sharp differences within Chinese culture and Nigerian culture. So here at Confucius Institute, we try to merge the two together, the language and the cultural aspect.
Thank you.
What it brings to mind is that you're more or less an educational ambassador to China. And now, how does this also bring economic value to Nigeria and the rest of Africa?
Actually, we try to work as an ambassador, as an ID card for China, representing the education. Actually, the general word should be friendship. We hope that we are treated as a friend, for example, in the first place. And of course, we are teaching, so people just think we are educators. And we try our best to be the ambassador of education, even as economy, because we hope that we can, with our efforts, we can introduce China as a whole to Nigeria. So when we are teaching, when we are having some cultural activities, no matter whether it's independent one or a collaboration with the consulate or even the Chinese embassy, we just think that they are representing the government, we are representing the people. So we hope that because of our efforts, we can have a people-to-people communication.
What the Institute have in plans for 2019?
In 2019, a really big year. We have a lot of activities. For instance, next month we are going to celebrate the Chinese traditional Spring Festival, Chinese traditional New Year, and we are going to train students to participate in the Hanyu competition. In English, that means Chinese Bridge competition. Yeah, and we are going to take students to participate in the HSK test. And the most important activity in 2019 is the celebration of the National Day. Today, October 1st, is the National Day for anniversary for Nigeria and China.
All right. You tell us about the Alaba project that you are supposed to head.
Well, there are a lot of Chinese people doing business in Alaba market, and I think we do need to meet the need of the local people. They want to learn Chinese and do business with the Chinese people in Alaba market. So we are going to, we try to, now we are enroll students, we try to give them a business Chinese class. And actually, our Chinese class is not just a class for lecturing Chinese. Going
my Chinese name is Wang.
We understand your scholarship to China.
Yes.
Tell us your scholarship story.
It's all started from 2014 when I participated in a Chinese bridge competition, Hanyu. For the first time, I was in level 1, just 3 months into the program, and I had to compete with level 4, level 5 students. I was scared at first, but my teacher encouraged me, so I participated in the competition and I came second. So I was opportunity to go to China for 2 weeks on summer camp. So the following year, which is 2015, I also participated in the Chinese bridge once again. I came first, so I represented Nigeria in China in the world competition. And before that, I got a scholarship here using my Chinese exam certificate, HSK4, which I got 1 year scholarship. Then from the competition as well, I got another year scholarship, but different year. The first scholarship was 2015/2016. The second scholarship was 2017/2018. So that was how I got the scholarship. Right now, I'm presently doing my master's. After I finished learning the language, I was opportune to apply for the Chinese government.
Thank you, but our program never ends, actually. Now, we help our students to study here in a way, like endless way, because if they cannot get scholarship, they stay, go on working until the day that they can get scholarship, or they get a good opportunity in a Chinese enterprise. So they never, and we never give up. We never name it end of the study. You can go on, yeah, if you want to, because for example, last September, we resumed last September, and the term should last from September to February, the end of February. This is 1 semester or 1 term. So if finish this term, we name it graduation from this term. And actually, we are having a graduation ceremony every July, because usually in China, most of universities will resume in September. So in March, we resume again. After 2 weeks holiday, our students can come back. They pay for the new semester and they just go on. So their final goal is either a scholarship or a work in the Chinese enterprise, or whatever they dream is. So we just do it like a circle.
You can stimulate the interest of particularly Africans to learn Mandarin, because they may be just this physician.
Yes.
That it's a difficult language, and that's why some may shy away from it.
We encourage our students in several ways. Every year we organize summer camp. We help as many as 20 people every year to go to China to see the country. If you want to your motherland to become also a fast developing country, study hard. Come to China to study some technology, to study something that you can use for the future work back to your country. So they just come to see the big difference. They see the big difference between the cultures, and they are more interested in Chinese culture. And they are back, they study hard, and they get the scholarship, and after several years, they come back, become one of us teaching staff, so they can help more and more. For example, if we send a teacher to a school, this particular teacher can teach hundreds of students. So we hope that in this way, we can help more and more people, and we can encourage more and more people. Besides the summer camp.
Of the institute, are there difficulties you face teaching some of the students in learning the language, especially that it's quite new to them?
Yes. As a director of our institute, the biggest challenge is not the difficulty of the language. Yeah, it's the strong interest in the language versus fewer or inefficient teachers, actually. Now, we understand that so many students, they want to study, and we do need teachers, we do need classrooms. And the challenge is we don't have enough teachers, and we just have more and more students and schools and institutions that asking for sending teachers to their schools. You see, we are focusing on Lagos State, but we know that so many people outside Lagos, that they also want to study Chinese. So they just apply to me, to my institute, for sending teachers. So I hope that we have more and more teachers. And at the same time, we're also focusing on helping our students to become the future teachers. So
my Chinese name Zhang Bo. Yeah, that's the meeting, and I have a Nigerian name, Ni.
Me, okay. Can we get the full name, your Chinese name, full?
My family name Zhang, given name Bo, so you can call me Zhang Bo. And actually, I give myself an English name, Jumbo.
Jumbo.
Because the pronunciation sounds very similar, right?
Okay, okay, great. So just look at it here.
Okay.
Yeah, tell us, what do you do? What is your role here in the institute?
Well, just now the Prof introduced me to you that I'm a teacher's representative. I really appreciate that thing. But actually, I'm just a common teacher from Luoyang Institute of Technology, and it's my great honor to be a Chinese teacher here in Confucius Institute of UNILAG.
Tell us, what are the plans that the institute are having this year, 2018-19?
This year, 2019, is really a big year. We have a lot of activities, cultural activities, and very colorful, activities. For instance, we are going to drawing a anniversary cut. Let me try it.
Okay. What are the things you encounter?
In China, for the first time, I got to know that what we are studying here actually, it's not all that is required for us there. Like, there are some Chinese words that we learned here that even then they just look at what she's saying. It's not the usual thing they say. For example, here we say ni hao ma. In China, they hardly use ni hao ma. They will hardly ask you ni zemeya, ni chilama. So this is what they usually ask. So those are the little difficulties I experienced. But later I was able to blend with time.
Tell us, as the institute is a language learning school, what is the importance of learning languages?
To be honest, in my mind, language is very important too. For people from different countries to get to know each other, to promote the mutual understanding. For instance, and I'm trying to learn Yoruba, and actually I do see something. For instance, Odaro, Ekale, Ekasong, Actually, in China, we greet each other sometimes by saying something like this. 吃了吗? That means, have you had your lunch? Have you had a supper? Just like how you're doing. So I do think learning language with people, get to know each other, can enhance the mutual understanding. Yeah.
Students today have difficulty in writing or speaking Mandarin. Which is easier?
Speaking is always easier, right? Our students can speak a lot. It's true that writing Chinese characters is really something that students have to focus on, make great efforts with this. Now, you know the Chinese characters, you can tell that how complicated they appear. But you see our teaching here, we do it according to different levels. We have level 1 for starters, and we have level 5. So for level 5, students can write quite complex sentences. So many students can write quite well, although it's difficult. Yeah, practice is I think practice is the key. Otherwise, you tend to forget.
Just before my next business, you find the Chinese are also very, very enterprising, very industrious. Just like you find a lot of Nigerians too who are also industrious, very enterprising.
Yes.
And they also want to go to China, but they have this challenge with understanding some of the Chinese characters,
Oh, okay.
So do you also have a program for such people who may want to have an easier way to navigate their way when they want to do business, for instance, in China?
Okay, good question. Now, there is a big market in Lagos named Alaba Market. Yes, we discovered that many people there, working there, they are dealing with Chinese business people. So we want to set up a teaching site in that market so that the business people, they don't have to come to Unilab. They can study Chinese or in their own markets. Well, our teachers can go twice a week if they like. So every time 3 or 4 hours, they can study Chinese there. And we also we organized one teaching course for Nigerian immigration officials. Yeah, we were teaching 40 of them in our institute, and we are doing that for the second group, another 40.
Language learning is a prerequisite for you getting a scholarship.
This is one of the important ways that we are doing. Now we just use it as a, for a lot of English-speaking countries, they use something like GRE or something like that. Yeah. Yes. Yes. So actually, this is very similar. We just use it as a standard for measuring our students. Of course, we also observe our students. They must be good at not only the language learning, but also good at a good control, discipline. Yes, love Nigeria. Now we ask them, yeah, you study Chinese, you want to go to China to study. So what is the purpose of doing that? Okay, we hope that when they are back to Nigeria, and we do hope they come back to Nigeria after learning in China. Now we know that many stay in China without coming back. We hope that our students will be the ambassadors of Nigeria, and they will be good and great builders of their motherland in the future. So in two parts, we are helping our students. The first part, the students come to register themselves, either as UNILAG students or non-UNILAG students. So we have two different charging fee for two groups of students. So they pay for their learning, and they also pay just a little for the examinations. So if they pay for the learning, if they pay for the examination, that's all, because it's free for them to apply to the scholarship. They do everything online. If they have internet at home, they can apply at home. And it's the teachers who will just help them to get all the enough information, to get contact with the university in China. So, and especially if they get the approval, if they are approved by the system, which means by the uni and the Confucius Institute headquarters, we will be informed online. So the students just will have to pay for the international air tickets, and all the rest of the thing will be supported by the Confucius Institute headquarters. For example, accommodation, free accommodation, okay, and honorarium or allowance every month. You have been to China.
Look at the classroom experience.
Okay.
What activities do you apply when you teach Mandarin?
Actually, we have a lot of textbooks that we can use. I'm sure that many students are studying in my institute for the purpose of going to China to study. So they focus on preparing for the examination, which is HSK. H for Hanyu, that is Mandarin or Chinese. S for HSK for Chinese preliminary examination. So if we have very good management of how we teach, how we apply, how we have examinations, and the headquarters will just give us the certificates, the results of the examinations. We just mail them. We have the examination here. We mail the test papers back to the headquarters, and we will get our students' results maybe 40 days later, and with different levels of the results, our students can apply for different levels of scholarship, so that we just follow